Hello, my friends, and welcome to Secret Transmissions. I'm Fulcrum. You can also call me Nick. And we have an episode today that I've been wanting to do since just first thinking about starting a podcast. Being a theater person and getting very creative, I love that avenue of things, and that's kind of where we're going today. Before I get too far, though, let's bring out our guest that we had on the very first episode, the wonderful, the super popular Bucky, also known as gingersareplants.
Hello.
Hello.
Long time no see.
I know, it's been forever. Just so you know, we saw each other at WonderCon this weekend.
So it's been a whole 3 days.
It's been a crazy a lot's happened in 3 days, apparently. We'll all talk about that. But let me see. Who is all out there in the world? Who's on the chat? Type in, let us know. But first of all, before we get too far into things, Bucky, where can we find you on the socials?
I am at gingersareplants on TikTok and Instagram, and that is all of me.
That's easy. Every time I go on somebody's, I have to say underscore 50 times.
Yeah. See, I don't know how to deal with the underscores, so
it was the only way to get codename Fulcrum to work on the socials. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
A popular name.
Yes. I don't know why. It's.
I know. Yeah. No idea.
Yeah, but thankfully not too many people post too much with Fulcrum besides me. So at least that's helpful. So to start things off, to get your brain thinking, for those of you that are out there, we're gonna dive into what if, essentially, try to kind of create scenarios on what we think would happen or what we think could have happened that we don't have explained yet in Star Wars. So just start thinking about possible what if scenarios that you can throw our way, and we will go a little crazy with that. We'll get to that in a moment. But first of all, here is just to show us at WonderCon. I was kind of faux solo, and we've got the doctor.
Who's finally Ginger.
Yeah.
I didn't get that joke one time that entire day that I was cosplaying her, and I'm very surprised.
Just the fact that gingers are plants or ginger?
No. Oh, wait, have you seen Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Okay, you know when I think it's Matt Smith regenerates and he's like looking at himself for the first time, he looks at his hair and just goes, "Dang it, still not ginger."
Oh.
And it's always been this kind of running joke ever since then. I was just like, oh, the next Doctor's announcement, still not ginger.
Well, I'm still waiting, for my representation. I mean, I've got all the action heroes now, pretty much. At least I have that.
That is true.
I do have sci-fi. I've got Picard. I was Picard on Sunday.
Yeah, and then we talked about it. You could also be Lobot.
I know I've got the Lobot thing, but I have to get a little bit older and stop caring enough to dive into that cosplay. What little amount of effort can I put into cosplay, and then I can be Lobot. At least I would have poofy sleeves. That could be fun.
His costume does look very comfortable.
It does. I mean, the headpiece, I just have to make sure it's not too squeezy the whole time. But I just need to take a pair of headphones, and that's what Sarah did and some other people do for Hera and stuff like that. For the
the goggles,
just get some old headphones. So showing this weekend, just for a moment, if we're on WonderCon, I did Captain Rex this weekend. That was, I know. I hadn't done Rex since the last celebration, so
dang.
I know it. I got busy. It's a lot of effort to do Rex, but
a lot of pieces, and as we talked about, not great mobility in it. So
not at all. I can't even reach my head. And let me get to. There's another one that did something weird. There we go. And of course, with me this weekend, Sarah. Yeah. So Sarah went as Ahsoka to kind of like be my handler because again, like I can't do anything. But I found it hilarious that she got more attention as Ahsoka than I did as Rex, which I'm always okay with. Like it's Ahsoka and like codename Fulcrum, and then I had like
yeah, no, just no, just
codename
who would even care about Ahsoka Tano, you know?
everyone cares about it.
Me, that's who.
I know. Oh, we're gonna deep dive into that one.
Oh.
But yeah. So how was your WonderCon weekend?
It was good. No, I had so much fun. I was so exhausted. After Sunday, I came home and just like absolutely crashed because I just like had an absolute blast. Like Saturday, I was there from like 9:30 and I left at like 11 p.m. So I was there for like 13 and a half hours. But it was all so much fun. Like it was all like very much worth it. I was like constantly like just doing things and like going to like some really cool panels.
Yeah.
Got to see Ashley Eckstein from a distance twice. So that's always fantastic.
I didn't. I was like in armor the whole day. Like I can't sit down in that thing. So like going to a panel, I'd just be standing in the back, like looking funny.
Yeah.
Oh no, we got the Podwans. No, what's happening? Speaking of which, that reminds me. If those of you watching can like this video, it helps push things out there. So liking this helps. I appreciate it. Oh, I know. And so with WonderCon this weekend, I felt like it was a little bit of a warm up because Celebration is next week, and that's
so wild. It's weird to think I'm literally like literally a week from today, I'm getting on a plane.
Yeah, I'll already be on a plane
and flying to London. So wild. I'm so excited, but it's gonna be a wild weekend, and I cannot.
As exhausted as I was with WonderCon, now I'm kind of worried about the Celebration. I'm like, am I conditioned enough for a full like Star Wars con? I don't know.
WonderCon was your prep. You guys, you gotta stretch out those con muscles.
I feel better about it now.
Like the endurance of just doing it all.
But yeah, and Luke, it'll be great to see you too. And oh, thanks. Yeah. So I last night stayed up with the Dyad and the Force and did reactions to Mando because I was with them at Galaxy's Edge all day.
Oh yeah.
And we mentioned that we'll do a weekend so that you're available, Bucky.
Yeah. It's gonna happen. We'll make it happen.
And yeah, it was fun. So when we got to the podcast, we're all exhausted. But then, of course, like we did Mando, which you can see. But then they're going to stay up and do Bad Batch, and I was going to get up in the morning to do it. I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. I like to. Well. I know. See it with friends. Needless to say, after I edited Mando and posted it, I got to bed at like 5 something in the morning. Oh, I'm phoning it in right now. It's great.
Oh yeah. Yeah, see, I did the opposite. I finished watching the newest episode of Mando like a half hour ago.
Yeah.
Give or take, something like that.
And we'll talk about we'll give spoiler warnings before we talk about the actual episodes. So those that haven't seen it, don't worry right now. But yeah, but so it's fresh for you.
It's very fresh for me. And then I also busy I usually stay up to watch either like Mando or Bad Batch, but I just like didn't end up doing it tonight, and so I just was watching them earlier like this afternoon, and so it's all very fresh.
Yeah, it's I mean they're both Mando and Bad Batch were like so memorable and epic in certain ways that like I'm gonna have to watch them again when I'm prepared.
Yeah, really.
Although
I soak it all in.
Yeah, I kind of did when I re-edited everything. You kind of get like a kind of a recap with that. But yeah, so celebrations next weekend, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get going. But there's so much preparation. I know after this, I'm going to be working more on my armor for Ahsoka.
Yes, I'm so excited to see that cosplay. I'm so excited.
everything. So I'm making the bracers, little hand guard, and the shin guards and foot guards. I'm doing live action Ahsoka because being a big dude, the costume fits me better. Um, this is not fulcrum, yo. But yeah, it's my first time working with EVA foam. Really working with it, and so it's kind of fun to start to learn a new skill. I'm like, oh, I could get good at this. I'm not now. But yeah, I've kind of spray painted the chrome aspect on it. Now I need to start doing the detailing.
Yeah.
So that's the nerve-wracking part.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But to do that on Ahsoka Day when everybody's going to be dressed as Ahsoka for the panel.
Oh yeah, I'm probably gonna have to get up. Oh yeah, Padawans are asking about what panels you got into. We talked about this, that I was really just hoping to get into the Ahsoka one, and that did not happen.
No, we didn't get anything. Nothing, and so we're gonna be up early in the morning getting lines.
I got 2 at the Galaxy stages. I got the Lucasfilm Showcase and Bad Batch at the Galaxy stages.
We got Villains at the Galaxy stage. That's the only one we got.
Nice.
That's it.
But yeah, no, I cannot imagine how long that line for Ahsoka is gonna be, but I'm gonna be there way too early in the morning.
I know, so. You have to get there. Like, I'll try to adjust my time clock so I'm like getting up early in the morning as much as possible.
Yeah.
But we ordered these little like plastic unravel seats. So like if you're just waiting in line, you sit down.
That's smart.
Oh, I borrowed a friend's for the Kenobi premiere last year, and it was yeah. It was very, very useful. I'm learning. All right, let's start to dive into actual. Oh yeah, let's see.
You have Kenobi at celebration stage. Oh, that's sick.
Oh,
and you got a Ahsoka celebration stage. Oh,
Luke, we both love you and hate you right now.
Yeah,
we have mixed feelings about you at the moment. Yeah, it's all jealousy. Yeah. Oh, well. And yeah, this is Fulcrum. Fulcrum at I'm currently Fulcrum, and I will be actual Fulcrum at Celebration.
Heck yeah.
But so dive into our topic, because I can easily talk about all this stuff. Is a kind of a Star Wars what if. So one thing that Bucky is well known for on the TikToks. If you don't follow gingersareplants on TikTok, you should, because it's super entertaining, and everything that you wish you already had explained, she'll give you a story to help explain it. But she kind of does a lot of what if scenarios, and one of them famously being wait, bring up this picture.
Oh no,
these people.
Yes.
I know. I love this. I love this art.
Yeah. I've seen this art. It's so fantastic, man.
So we're both big Ahsoka lovers. I know a lot of you out there are as well. Oh. But so as far as Ahsoka, on what we have, what is your biggest thing that you wish you could see on film, or that they would have to present to you, of like, this is the story, here's this explanation, here's this interaction?
I need so desperately to learn how she met Luke in the first place, because it's been something I've literally been talking about for like, gosh, it's going on like 3 years now, about like before Book of Boba Fett came out, about hoping that she would meet him one day. And then when it came out, it kind of just like skipped the part of them like being introduced for the first time. It's like, okay, they're already established, you know who each other are, and here it is. And then I cried a lot. But I so desperately want to know the story of how she ended up there, how she ended up on Ossus, meeting Luke in the first place, and knowing what that conversation was. Because there is a lot that would happen in that, because before that episode of Book of Boba Fett came out, we just had no idea if Ahsoka even ever knew that Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa were Anakin and Padme's children, or
Yeah.
even if like they had even like existed to her. And so it's kind of like a big thing to find out that, you know, like your best friend who like turned evil actually also had children, and that child is those children are a literal Jedi and Princess Leia. Um, and so it's just there's so many things that them meeting for the first time would mean that I just really want to be explored. Because it's not just like, oh,
Mhm.
hey, Luke exists and is Anakin and Padme's son. It's also, oh, yeah, by the way, Ahsoka, because she wouldn't have any other way of knowing it, that Anakin turned back to the light side. And just all of the everything of it.
And not only that, but they Luke and Leia becoming part of the rebellion that Ahsoka helps build.
Exactly. Because also, it's like speaking of like with the rebellion and specifically Leia, Ahsoka was recruited to the rebellion by Bail Organa. Um, I am a firm believer that Ahsoka and Leia had met at some point. There's nowhere in canon that even would suggest this, but I believe it in my heart because it just kind of makes sense to me. She was a Fulcrum agent. She was in the rebellion. Leia also was very much involved with the rebellion. It makes sense that they would have met or at least known who each other are. There's no way that Ahsoka didn't know who Princess Leia Organa was. But then also kind of having that moment of, oh yeah, my good friend Bail Organa, yeah, his daughter is also actually the biological child of Anakin and Padme, and he never told me. So it's also like that reveal and like
Mhm.
that emotional weight of like my good friend never told me like the truth about his child as well.
So let's actually play a little what if scenario. What do you imagine? Create us a story of Ahsoka and Leia like meeting. What would be that interaction and kind of like time frame too?
Well, like within there's a lot of like what ifs that could be about it because it could just be them meeting in the rebellion
Mhm.
and just being like, oh yeah, this is Princess Leia Organa, like Bail's daughter. Good to meet you. Let's go like fight the Empire and be rebels and do something. And I do think that there would have been some sort of force sense that Ahsoka might have about Leia of there's something with her. Because one, like we know that Leia is force sensitive, and I think
Mhm.
Ahsoka would be able to sense that. But then also just that like there's kind of more to this. She seems too familiar and not just oh because she's Bail's daughter. Like there's something else there. But
Yeah.
then what I also would think what I think about a lot of like Ahsoka and Luke meeting, if like Leia being there and being the like the weird introducing point of being like, oh yeah, Ahsoka, it's good to see like Leia being like, oh, it's good to see you again. Oh yeah, this is my brother Luke Skywalker. Having that like first of all, brother, second of all, Skywalker, you two, huh? Like having that moment of just kind of like shock and being like, I know you. I have known you for years. What do you mean? Is a lot what I imagine that scenario playing out as.
I wait, I'm gonna put up this picture because that's like just I know. Um that a picture like that just brings up so much happiness.
Yeah.
And the fact that Ahsoka has so many connections to
Yeah.
people in the rebellion. I mean, you've got, of course, R2, C3PO. You've got Chewbacca, who
Yes.
like
Yeah.
they were kidnapped together.
Yeah. Like imagine Ahsoka like seeing just and like not even connections to like the rest of the Skywalker family or anything, just seeing like us Leia again and her being like, oh yeah, this is my husband Han and this is his best friend Chewbacca. And it just being like, I know you. We got kidnapped together. What's up, man? Like it's I remember joking one time just saying it's like it's like you know like the it's I think it's like 7 circles of Kevin Bacon, like how, like the and like how many layers of separation like actors are from each other, like oh
Yeah.
how many circles of separation you are away from each other. I think it's like 7 for Kevin Bacon. I'm pretty sure for any Star Wars character to connect to each other, it's like 3 because just everybody's meeting everybody.
I mean, like you think Chewie. Oh no.
Oh no.
Can you hear me?
We can still hear you. Can't see
Okay,
you.
good.
It's my show now. 6 degrees. That's it. It's 6 degrees at Kevin Bacon.
Well, I don't know what my camera's doing weird things. But,
Huh.
it's cool. It's cool. It's fine. All right. Say something. I will fix this in just a second. On Chewbacca's interaction with Ahsoka, like in the rebellion.
Oh man, I think it would have been so hilarious of just absolutely like no connection to like anything, but like Ahsoka just kind of like being there in the rebellion on some rebel base, and then just like Han and Chewie are just like also there, and she just runs into Chewbacca again. I think it would be such a wild interaction because I mean, as far as they hadn't like seen each other for gosh like 25 years probably at that point. To see somebody who you became friends with because you both got kidnapped together would be a wild thing to like be like, oh hey, what's up buddy, do you remember me from like 25 years ago when we got kidnapped? Like it's just, I think it would have been like just like such a wild interaction of like, wow, you're here again, hello again, like a small galaxy moment. It's a small world moment.
Yeah.
Han's confusion. Oh my gosh.
I mean,
absolutely.
that's you could see that in
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi with like, no,
Yeah.
he's my brother, and it's like, what?
Uh-huh.
You could just see like Han through the years just having that
He's
expression
just always
constantly.
confused. Like I remember in Solo when like Chewbacca mentions his age. I don't remember exactly how
190.
old. Yeah, that's what it is. 190, and he's like, "You're 190?" Like, huh? Just the complete bewilderment on his face. I think it would be honestly a similar moment of, what do you mean you got kidnapped during the Clone Wars? That's right, you're so much older than I think you are.
It's like are like Han and Chewie best friends, or like is like Han his pet? You know, it's like
yeah, it's the man and his dog, but
point.
it's not what you the way that you
it's
think.
reversed. It's Star Wars. It's totally reversed.
Yeah.
And of course, like R2, just the entire time watching all these interactions, just kind of like, I know everything.
Yeah. He's not a snitch. He's not a snitch.
No,
He
not
won't,
at all.
unless completely like pressed in for information, he won't say a thing. He knows the entire plot of Star Wars and hasn't told anybody any of it. Because I do
not even 3PO, like nobody.
Yeah. Like he mentions it to him in like A New Hope. He's talking about it's like literally like the opening scene. They're running through when they're running through the ship, and the C-3PO is like, "What are you talking about? These grand adventures? Oh, you're always going off about this." And R2 is just like, "I know things you don't know because I don't get my memory erased because I don't just constantly jabber."
It's amazing how many people when doing these videos and stuff like that, because I've done some like R2 kind of what if scenarios on there, that how many people don't realize that R2's memory, except for a few hours in the Clone Wars, like never gets wiped.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I remember the episode where like Anakin and Ahsoka have to go like rescue R2-D2 because he got like captured by the separatists or like pirates or something.
Yeah, and Anakin's like, his memory hasn't been wiped.
Hey, so I kind of never wipe R2-D2's memory because it's just kind of like helpful, and I literally have never done it. So he has like all of our secrets, so we kind of need to get him back. And yeah, it is definitely a point of confusion because I know like there's at the end of Revenge of the Sith, like Bail Organa is like, oh yeah, get the droids, like get the protocol droids memory wiped, but he doesn't say anything about R2-D2, which I think is just a very funny moment where it's like, oh hey, wait, do you remember? So R2-D2 and C-3PO have been present at the entirety of all of the prequels happening, but in A New Hope, C-3PO has no idea what's going on. Okay, cool, quick line, no more plot hole. But because of that line though, I know a lot of people are kind of confused thinking that R2-D2 had his memory wiped. It's like, no, he knows everything. He knows everything. He was at Padme and Anakin's wedding. He knows everything.
He was on Mustafar. I mean, he didn't follow Anakin in, but he was there. He knows.
Oh, he knows everything. But yeah.
And I can just imagine that. I think we both had videos on this, like Luke having a conversation with R2.
Yeah, there's so many things that droid could tell him. There's so many
Of
things
like,
of
oh
just like,
man, R2, my dad was Darth Vader. Is like,
yeah, I knew that.
beep
Yeah,
boop,
beep boop. I knew that. Yeah,
beep boop.
yeah. She's like, yeah, I knew that. I know everything. I was there. Like it's one of those things of just the kind of hilarity of the fact that again, like R2D2 knows everything, could tell them anything, and he just like hasn't. Of the fact because like I there's no moment where Luke, as far as I know, Luke and Leia learn that, or if they ever learn, I would assume after Luke had met Ahsoka, she probably could have told them that R2D2 and C3PO were Luke and Leia's Luke and Leia's parents' droids.
Yeah.
That like C3PO was built by Anakin, and then later then owned by Padme, and then R2D2 was like a Naboo's droid who then Padme later gave to Anakin. Like they swapped droids as wedding gifts, which I think is adorable.
Yeah.
But it's like unless like R2D2 or probably I guess Ahsoka, again going back to that, please I need to see this conversation and everything that they talked about, of how like it's been just mind-blowing to be like, oh yeah, these droids that like through the mysterious ways that the Force works landed on my doorstep with a message from my sister, turns out, to go find essentially my uncle, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, to go save her after she got captured by our dad. Also, those same droids, yeah, were owned by him at various points in his life.
And yeah, it's crazy that it's never actually mentioned if they find out about any
No.
of that. I would
Yeah.
assume because like Ahsoka was with R2 and Luke that she might have
Yeah.
mentioned something about R2 being Anakin's,
See,
but
that's the thing. If she
maybe.
saw, like, if like whatever scenario it was, where however she ended up on Osis with Luke, of seeing R2D2 again, R2D2 would absolutely recognize her. And like, the
Oh yeah.
moment in Clone Wars, like season 7, when Ahsoka like comes back with the night owls, and she comes on the ship, and
Mhm.
like Anakin and Obi-Wan, they're kind of just like standing there, and then R2D2 just runs up to her, and she just like pets him.
R2E.
Yeah, I imagine a very similar moment happening, of it just like them maybe like talking and like having some like very like sad, like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that you existed, and that Anakin and Padme had a child, what is happening, and then R2D2 just beelines for her, and then again it would be a moment of, and you have your dad's droid, and I don't think Luke would know that. Like
No.
I did make a video about this not too long ago, of just kind of the hilarity of it, of being like, oh yeah, like, what's up? I'm Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala's child. Also, I have their droid.
Doesn't Ahsoka pat? Oh dang it! It's happening again.
Yeah.
I'll have to probably keep doing this. It's okay. I'm still here. Everybody be cool. And I'll have to actually Google what this issue is, but it's plugged in, so I don't know what's. Yeah.
That's weird.
I mean,
The camera hates you.
it stayed up till 5 a.m. with me, so it's probably. All right. With that, doesn't Ahsoka pat R2 in Book of Boba Fett?
She does. She does give him a little pat when he's there, because R2D2's just kind of sitting there ignoring Mando when he's just like, hey, where can I find Luke Skywalker? What's going on? And R2D2 just doesn't care. He just does it. He just kind of sits there and is like, I don't care. And then yeah, Ahsoka shows up and he gives him a little pat. But yeah, no, I love the little pat on the droid. I always think it's very funny. But I remember seeing like somebody had like edited the two images together from like Clone Wars and Book of Boba Fett, of like Ahsoka basically doing the same thing, of like giving R2 a little pat on the head, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was so happy. We're reunited. Ahsoka and R2.
I'm pretty sure this is going to happen a few more times, so just be prepared in this, and then I'll figure out why this is happening. I'm sure somebody in the chat will be like,
yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much. I am the best with technology as long as I am not the one running it. I'm not horrible with it. I'm just less good. But yeah, that whole Book of Boba Fett moment set up so many questions that I have with that, and like wondering in the Ahsoka show, is any of that going to be covered? Because I know we're going to be dealing with some of the Ghost Crew and like other storylines and focusing on Ahsoka, but
Yeah.
is that all we're ever going to get? Is Luke ever going to come back into this?
Yeah.
Um,
See, that's the
yeah.
thing. It's like I kind of assumed after The Mandalorian that having Luke Skywalker was like a one and done kind of situation, and then they brought him back for the Book of Boba Fett, and so part of me is like, it feels like Disney might just like kind of have him in their back pocket to like possibly use again. The other part of me really doesn't want him overused. Like, it was a very special moment. Like, they were both like just very special, incredible moments that, like, I mean, I would really love to see it in live action of Ahsoka and Luke meeting for the first time. But like, the Star Wars books are incredible. The comics are also fantastic. Like, there are other mediums that we could see it in, which I would not hate. I just really want to see this one moment happen.
Yeah, that's basically all it is. Like, it doesn't make sense for Ahsoka's like story.
Yeah,
It's
like,
just something that I need.
yeah, it's like from the like little information that we have about like the vague plot of what's the Ahsoka series is going to be, of just like her and the Ghost Crew going to find Ezra and also fight Thrawn, probably. I don't really see how they would weasel in, presumably like a flashback
Yeah.
to like how they met in the first place, or like what happened with that, and like why they met in the first place is also kind of a big question for me, because it's like, cool, they met each other. Why was she there though? The line of "I'm an old friend of the family's" made me cry, but also it isn't an actual answer.
Not at all. And like, it's
No.
like, is she helping out, kind of like a little like guide to kind of help Luke on his way?
She's
Kind
a
of giving some
substitute teacher
advice.
for Grogu.
Yeah. Like, I used to be a teacher, so I'm helping you build your school.
Yeah.
I mean, possible. And then of course, like at the very end, that whole like, will I see you again? Perhaps. It's like, how dare you?
Yeah, because also it was Chris, Star Wars lawyer, had pointed this out, that there are two other times where those exact lines are said, and one of them was Anakin to his mother, and the next time they saw each other, Shmi died. The other time was in the Kenobi series with little baby Leia and Obi-Wan, and the next time that Leia sees Obi-Wan, he also dies in front of her. And I don't think I could watch that happen. I would, please don't do this to me, Dave Filoni. I know you love to make us cry, but please don't make me, don't make this happen to me.
It's the Star Wars version of like, I'll be right back.
A little bit. And it's like, just, oh no. Just, oh no.
No. I mean, yeah.
Like, please don't speak this into existence. I don't want this to happen.
Although the good thing for us is that the Ashley Eckstein clip of her saying something about season 2.
Yeah.
And like, yes, I know, like we know it went from like a limited series to probably season 1.
Just called season 1.
But until Lucasfilm or Disney actually announces a thing, as we've seen with all the possible
hopefully
movies,
in a week and a half we'll know.
There's no way we don't get some sort of trailer or teaser.
Oh, we're absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's an entire panel at Celebration just titled Ahsoka. It's gonna be about the show. It has to be.
I'm not getting up really early to do to have Sarah help me do my makeup. I'm gonna test it this weekend.
That's
man.
Oh, and you're gone again.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, this. I need to put this camera to sleep in after this. So I'm going to reset this again. So let me set up a scenario for you. What are your thoughts? Speaking of what if with Ahsoka, what do you think the central storyline for a season 1 could possibly revolve around.
Like I said, I think it's definitely going to be very much centered around finding Ezra and Thrawn. Like from the essentially, honestly, the episode in The Mandalorian was a little bit of like a backdoor backdoor pilot for the Ahsoka series of like the where is Grand Admiral Thrawn, like her line to the magistrate, and like. But like what that means for how they're gonna find him and like how she even like knows about this person knowing where he would possibly be, it leads to a lot of questions. Like throwing things at the wall, theorizing, possibly Thrawn found his way out of the unknown regions and was doing something. Where does that leave Ezra? I don't know, and I'm worried about what that means for him. But yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah. So I think definitely continuing after Rebels.
Yeah.
We got the Purgles in
I know.
Mandalorian, which made me so happy. Love those weird little space whales. But so I think I'm really excited for what it could mean, because also just based on like the logo that we have, it seems like it's gonna be hopefully focusing a little bit more on like the mystical sides of like the Force and possibly like the worlds between worlds, which some of it has me like a little worried about what that could mean. Of just kind of like, I don't want there to be weird, not retconning, but like time travel. Like the world between worlds was a really cool one-off kind of thing, and like I'm super interested in hearing more about it and like the more like mystical sides of the Force.
Yeah.
But there's also the part of me that's like, please don't make the multiverse real in Star Wars. I can't.
I don't think we're gonna have like Endgame to Doctor Strange, No Way Home type of scenario with that. Although if it worked towards Ahsoka's character story development, or dealing with past emotions aspects, I mean, like the whole thing with her and Anakin in Rebels.
See, what I would love, because I remember one time I said this in like, but it's like Ahsoka deserves a resolution to everything that happened with Anakin, between her and Anakin. Especially because like the last time that she had seen him was Darth Vader tried to kill her. And she also tried to kill him, but now assumably like after meeting Luke, she would know that he turned back to the light side. It's still a lot, and he's gone again. Oh boy.
I'm here. It's just the battery's just exhausted.
But it's still a lot to grapple with, of going from my really great friend, like from the Clone Wars, my really great friend, my mentor, my brother. I'm leaving the Order now. Like, you're still great, but I gotta go. Order 66 happening, assuming that he was dead. And then like 15 or 16-ish years later, after just thinking that Anakin was dead the entire time, you find out, oh no, he's actually the second most evil person in the galaxy. And when you see him again, he's gonna try to kill you, and you're gonna then try to kill him. And then like 10 years after that, you meet his son, who's able to tell you that, oh, he turned back to the light side. Like, those are a lot of big things to happen.
Yeah.
To then have to just grapple with, and none of it with the other person. So personally, I'm hoping for Force Ghost Anakin, because she deserves an apology from Anakin for, all of it. Do I think that's possible? Maybe. Hello. He's back. We can see you again. Oh, is your audio there is the question? No, we can't hear you. Dang. But hopefully see if you can turn back on your sound. Oh, and it's just my show now. Hi, I'm Codename Fulcrum. I'm Nick. It's nice to meet you.
All right, I'll turn my audio on here just for a moment. You can hear it. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
And we can see you.
I know it's gonna be
Same.
3-word screens until I can
Fun.
figure this out. All right. At least it won't go like, battery exhausted and
Yeah.
yeah, no more. Okay. Um, it's yeah. I mean, it's only episode 5 in podcasting, and now you get to see my Kenner collection here. You know,
Ooh.
I this was a falcon that I refurbished,
Okay.
restored. Yeah.
Nice.
You get the whole original, however many those are, 10 figures.
Dang. Dang.
I know. Um, but yeah, I'm just gonna go with this right now until I have a second to figure things out. Um, uh, yeah, I mean, I there's so much I'm looking forward to with Ahsoka, but um, my brain spirals into like all the possible scenarios. But until I can get a trailer and I get a little
Yeah.
bit more, I got a week and a half. I can wait
Yeah.
a week
Yeah.
and a half.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, people would watch this.
The Bucky show.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of this, of course, like we're pretty sure that Hayden Christensen is in the show. In what capacity, we don't know.
Mm.
I mean, we know that Anakin can Force Ghost. We know that. So there's all these possible like scenarios with that. But we had a kind of detouring for a moment with what ifs. We had a good one from Luke earlier. All right, here's one for you. What if Anakin had walked away from the Order when he found out Padme was pregnant?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's from like it's one of those things because like from the characterization like of Anakin, who he is as a character, I don't see that happening. But if that were to happen, oh man, it's like because literally Palpatine orchestrated the entirety of the Clone Wars
Yeah.
just to be able to turn Anakin to the dark side. And so just him being like, nope, not even being a Jedi anymore. Peace out. I think there is still definitely avenues of ways that Palpatine could still try to use him. Because just because he's not a Jedi anymore does not mean that he's no longer Force sensitive.
Yeah.
Is still an incredibly powerful person. Would still be an incredibly powerful person. And oh man, yeah, there's a lot of.
Yeah.
It's like
I mean,
there's a lot of.
I see.
Man.
I see a couple different things with that. Is that well, I mean, if Padme asked, there's a lot he would do for Padme. But he's still very selfish, though.
I mean, because that's the thing. Padme does ask him to like when they're on Mustafar together. She literally is like, "Let's run away together and like leave this all behind." And he's just like, "No."
I mean, Anakin had his attachments to being a Jedi, being having his powers, and being somebody in that, being the chosen one. I mean, he's very attached to all of that, even if he had his qualms.
Yeah.
With the Order, but yeah, with that, if he did leave, I mean, he's still got his attachments there. As we know, with the High Republic, is that there's something called way seekers. So leaving the Jedi Order does not necessarily mean you can't come back. You can go off. You can have a relationship. Like he could have gone off and done that.
Ahsoka left the Order, and there was kind of the possibility that she would come back. Like there's in like season 7, through some of her conversations like with like Mace Windu, like people always like get mad at Mace Windu for like calling her citizen, but like in that conversation that they're having, they're like Yoda is kind of being like, hey, like if you want to come back, like we want to have you back. And she's just kind of like, not yet. And then Mace Windu like calling her citizen is kind of like, oh, it's him using it in kind of like a, okay, I'm respecting your decision. You are still a citizen. But also like
he has to have those boundaries.
We gotta talk like Jedi Order stuff now.
Yeah.
And so there was kind of this possibility that she could have come back, would have come back. Yeah. Um and but it's like she like when the way she talks about like wanting to like the Jedi being peacekeepers and not meant to be soldiers, but she's always ever been a soldier. Like if the Clone Wars were to ever actually have ended, like I do see her have coming back. Um, all that to say, back to Anakin, like yeah, it's like if he did leave, it's not like he like loses all of his training and his power. And no, Nick's gone again. Goodbye.
No, I'm here.
Okay, you're still okay. Cool.
I
Like
am.
he still has all his training. It still has all of that power. And so I definitely think that there still would have been ways that Palpatine would have tried to manipulate him.
Yeah.
Like because also Palpatine is always like 10 steps ahead. And so there's no way that he didn't have a plan for what if Anakin did leave the Jedi Order? What if something happened?
I mean, it probably
and
could
he
have been
left?
worse, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Anakin would have been vulnerable. Anakin would have been looking for direction, guidance. Who would he have gone to?
Yeah, because it's
Palpatine.
also like, okay, if he leaves the Jedi Order, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna like? I mean, he could just be like a stay-at-home dad. Like Padme's a senator. He could just be a stay-at-home dad. But like Palpatine was still like a mentor to Anakin, someone he turned to for advice and guidance. And I honestly think that if Anakin had like thoughts, like serious thoughts about like leaving the Order, he probably would have talked to Palpatine about it. And so I wouldn't be surprised if like then Palpatine would use that information to continue to further manipulate him, being like, okay, leave the Order. Maybe, be my aide. Like, come work for me now,
Yeah.
and just further control him.
I mean,
And
I could see
corrupt him.
it being a worse path, like still going down the dark path, becoming a Sith Lord, but, not limbs cut off,
Mm,
because
oh
Order
yeah.
66 was still in play. He would have had Anakin at his beck and call to do all of that. Of course, Anakin could come back because if he was like a way seeker, he could come back to the temple anytime. So his presence wouldn't be unexpected
Yeah.
with that. Yeah, I think now that I'm talking about it, I think it'd be much worse.
Yeah.
That like everybody talks about like what about like full power like Darth
Yeah, they always
Vader?
try like full power Anakin,
Yeah.
like full power Vader, and it's like oh.
Yeah, that sounds terrible. What do we got here?
Yeah. It's like suited and like Vader is terrifying enough. That's really yes, the homies.
I would see that spin-off show of
Yeah.
Anakin having a security. But the thing is like he would be unaliving so many people.
Yeah.
Like that would it would be like yeah.
It's been interesting watching the Bad Batch and kind of like not talking spoilers yet about it, but just kind of like watching and seeing like what happened to all of the clones like after Order 66 and after the war was over. And it's interesting to think about a world where like the Empire didn't come to power and the war was over. Like what would have become of them? Like what would have happened? Like I would assume that most of them would want to stay soldiers, just generally in like the military of the Republic.
If that's all they know.
But yeah, because it's all they know. But it's also just like, what else would have been like their lives or their options or wants,
Yeah.
Instead of just when we're seeing in the Bad Batch. So.
I know. Yeah, it's. Oh, I love my clones.
Love them. Love them so much.
And like the story where from earlier in the season that we're getting with the clones and seeing what's becoming of them and that transition. I never really necessarily knew that I needed that story. It's just the what would happen with some of your favorite people and that we're getting that story, but how difficult it is and the terrible things.
Oh yeah.
It's heartbreaking, most of the season to kind of watch that going on. But you're like applauding Palpatine, like, well done.
Oh my gosh,
But
yeah, the two-parter with Rex and Senator Chuchi. I'm so happy she came back. I loved her. But like that like final like when Palpatine showed up was like kind of just jaw-dropping. And like that's what I mean. Like he has contingencies for like kind of what Ben was saying, contingencies for contingencies. Because it's like you think that this couldn't possibly end well for Palpatine or
yeah.
anybody, and then he still makes it end in his favor.
Oh, jeez. Okay, we got some great other what ifs. Okay, this is a good one. What from Obi-Wan Kenobi? What if the New Republic wasn't terrible and viewed the Imperial remnants as a legitimate threat to their newfound peace? By the way, Obi-Wan is on all the reactions from last night too, so you can go watch us with that. I'll just leave this up actually. So interesting about this, what we're seeing with Mando and the Bad Batch right now, not Bad Batch, Mando. Book of Boba Fett, but with the New Republic, is that we've got some of that storyline with Leia in the book Bloodline.
Love Bloodline.
It's such a good book. If you want just a good book about Star Wars and Leia centric, and of course it segues a lot of where Leia is in between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. But seeing a little bit further inside the New Republic, and like Leia was not on board with most everything that was going on, and she even like butted heads with Mon Mothma constantly on that. But like the whole idea that Mon Mothma taking over, she was a pacifist and wanted to basically kind of end the war as soon as possible and get things away from being a military and being a military force out there. But of course, in doing so, they kind of turn a blind eye to a lot of what's going on that we see in Mando right now.
Yeah, because I mean, I think it's so easy to just think that, oh, hey, like we defeated the Empire, like the Emperor is gone, and so are a lot of like the major players. We don't have a lot to worry about, and like, oh, let's not dwell on the past, and like there's a lot like out of context like spoiler line from The Mandalorian, but it's like somebody mentions like, oh, you're not in the rebellion anymore, like the rebellion isn't around anymore, you don't have to worry about that stuff. And it's kind of like these people have a lot of experience with dealing with the Empire and their tactics and all of it. Like it makes sense that people are concerned, but then also kind of that people are like, no, it's fine if we keep worrying about all of that stuff that happened. We're not going to be able to like move forward and do anything. But also we just like see the bureaucracy of it all and how it's like not being effective.
Yeah, it's that part. That part is definitely not effective. I think we would still have issues with those that are still kind of loyal to the Empire inside the New Republic. We'd have issues with that. I just think as far as like leading up to like Force Awakens, that would have gone differently because of behind the scenes. We still don't know about the First Order. Like that's still a mystery, and that's like in the outer reaches, like beyond. So that's still a question mark and unknown. So I think there would have been just probably an earlier war. Once the First Order kind of made themselves known, but they probably would have gone about it a little bit different.
I think, thinking about kind of the way that the New Republic operates, it feels like they're just trying to be the opposite of the Empire in the sense that like the Empire was all controlling, like an authoritarian government. But in the New Republic is just kind of trying to be like, no, it's fine. We're gonna be like in the background and kind of like doing other things. But like it's still not a great like vibe to have. It's like they're not a great government, but not in a Empire bad, they will just like kill everybody and anything and do atrocities constantly, but more in just like they just don't really function really great.
It's like we were a rebellion to get rid of the Empire, but after that there wasn't like a big game plan. It's like we'll try to do the best we can. What do we got? I'm looking at let's look at this one. What if Lothal was a Jedi outpost during the High Republic era the temple on Lothal was mentioned to be super old, but we only see it in Rebels. There has to be a lot of Jedi history there. I mean, yeah.
Mhm.
The fact that, I mean, the High Republic is a few hundred years before, and then of course once the Empire took over, they basically like got rid of all remnants of the Jedi. But what's interesting to me is that when it comes to Lothal, is that really wasn't in their records. You know, like the Empire didn't just know about that Jedi temple, so it's a bit hidden. My imagining is that during the High Republic, something happened, and then the Lothal temple had to be hidden.
It would be interesting to see if maybe we see any of that in Acolyte. Like I won't lie,
Ooh.
I haven't read any of the High Republic, so I have like no information. I need to read the High Republic, and I'm so behind on all of it. I've only heard good things about it. I just haven't gotten around to it. But I do think that would be interesting because I know that I'm very excited for the show Acolyte, and like seeing that like period of time of like
Yeah.
going from like the High Republic to just kind of like the Age of the Republic and like more prequel era. I'm very interested to see like what happens with that because it also sounds like we're going to be following more like Darksiders in it.
That is super exciting. Yeah.
So I think it would be very interesting to kind of see, like you said, like if it was not that it was forgotten about, but if it was hidden.
Sorry, I just saw this one. It's just funny. What if mental health was actually prioritized in Star Wars? Roll credits.
Roll credits. Roll credits.
And it wouldn't be written by George Lucas or Dave Filoni.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. There's mental health is not something. What's funny is that like in the High Republic, going off about that, nothing spoiler wise. I do recommend it because it gives a lot into a better idea of what the Jedi should be. And it's kind of that time period where the Jedi are what they should be, but there's also elements coming in that are going to be creating what the prequel era is. That's there's nothing specific when it comes to that. Just like they're just little element setups with that. But to see the Jedi Order functioning in a much more just healthier way, you know, like you follow your path. You know, it wasn't like you have to follow this path to be a Jedi. Exactly like this. It's like everybody kind of followed their path the way the Force took them. You know, for some that was Wayseeker, going off and just doing their own thing. For some it was like leaving for a while and then coming back. And just how a lot of them dealt with a lot of these issues and what attachment really meant. And like, could you have certain types of relationships? That's it's much more. It's a lot clearer in that time period than the very strict kind of Mace Windu type strict.
Yeah. See, I will say I don't think that like the Jedi didn't know anything about mental health and how important it is. Just because I always think about the episode in in Rebels, with Kanan and Rex and some of the other clones when they're like fighting against the separatist droids that had like reactivated. And there's a moment where, because like Rex, like after getting captured by clankers again, and is like kind of having this like flashback panic moment of like calling out for like Cody and like freaking out about like everything that's happening. And there's a line that Kanan says to Ezra about how like not all scars are visible, or like not all wounds are visible. Which is like, for a kids show, such an important topic to touch on. Like, Star Wars Rebels is so good. I love the show so much.
Some of the conversations earlier in the Bad Batch season too, you know. About how people deal with emotions.
Yeah, between like I was literally talking about this with a friend of mine, literally today actually, about how how much like I appreciated that scene between Tech and Omega where he's talking about the way that like people like process their emotions differently and all of this. And like I know that a lot of people talk about like Tech being like very coded in different ways, and like but still just in like a general aspect of like people just being different. And like again, Bad Batch is still like technically a kids show. Like it is still like a like being like, hey, this is an important message for people to hear.
Speaking of some of the things with so first of all, Chris, Star Wars lawyer. By the way, super excited to see you next week.
Yes. I am so excited to see your Darth Vader cosplay in person. I'm so excited.
So excited for that. Oh, just do this to me the entire time. That's that's all I want. That's all I want. What's funny is, as far as like mental health, is that when Anakin goes to talk to Yoda, I mean, Yoda tells him the answer. It's just Anakin didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like people joke about like, oh, the Jedi therapy is bad, and like Yoda is like, hey, your emotions are valid. Don't let them control you. And Anakin goes, okay, cool. I'm gonna go let them control me.
It's like it's the attachments thing. Like this is gonna be the problem. Yeah. And this is the problem for your friend.
Yeah. For your friend, not your wife, right?
Yeah. And you know, it's not like he wasn't known, and like even Mace was kind of like, hey, thanks, you know, you do this, and I'm totally gonna trust you. This is great. Like, then of course, Anakin doesn't do any of it. You know, it's kind of like he hears the thing, and it's like, cool, I'm gonna do the other thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make the bad choices. Again, I think, you know, roll credits for more Star Wars. You don't have
him having trilogy. A brain cell, just none of the rest of the plot happens.
None at all. No. Oh, these are great. Let's keep throwing what ifs our way. What are we? Let's see. What does Ben say? Anakin is one of it. Oh, there's a lead into that.
Because he is the drama, and the Skywalkers. If the Skywalkers are one thing, it's dramatic. They just are. I love that for them.
Even Luke revealing to Leia, it's not like a hey, we should talk.
Yeah.
I found out we're brother and sister. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like I'm going to go in this whole speech. The Force is strong in my family.
Which I mean. I love that whole line so much. It's such a good little speech. Like me and my dad have matching t-shirts that say the Force is strong in my family. And it's fantastic. But it is a weird way to be like, hey, by the way, what's up, sister? Like, it's not, you could have handled that better, Luke. I mean, same thing with Vader telling Luke, a kind of a bad choice to cut off your son's hand and then immediately tell him that you're his dad.
And like you wait for the wind machine, and then you have the dramatic like.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. And Luke's then response is even more dramatic. Like no, that's not true. That's impossible. But then after Vader's like, join me, like, and we'll rule together. Luke doesn't respond. He just looks at Vader, looks down, looks back, and just drops. Doesn't say anything. Nope. He just falls. And like that is the only way to one up your dad in drama. Like
I think a lot of you know, parent-child relationships felt that scene, which is why it's so iconic. Yeah. It's not just the reveal, it's the like, oh yeah. That's my mom. That's my dad. That's our relationship. All right, what else we got? Let's see. What are some other what if scenarios that you've done on some of the TikToks?
Oh, many of them. There was one recently that had me really thinking, that somebody had commented, was saying that what if Bail had survived Alderaan? Like if he wasn't there.
I forgot what you said about that one.
Yeah, which it was something, it's like so simple, and I don't think that it would fundamentally change the plot very much at all. But more of just like characters like relationships to each other. Like
Mm.
it's thinking about like Bale meeting Luke again for the first time since Luke was literally born, like finding out that he's the one that saved his sister, and like Bale knowing all of that the entire time. I think their like reveal of them being related would probably have come a lot sooner, like if Bale was literally there to be able to tell them. But because also it's like Star Wars loves one thing, and it's dads. They're just everywhere. Adoptive father figures are the most prominent thing, a
Yeah.
recurring theme in Star Wars, and I love it for them. And so I definitely think it would be Bale is just like, and you're my son now too. Cool, I gained a son. And so I just think it would be a very kind of interesting character dynamic of being like, oh, my daughter, you saved her. Oh my gosh, you saved your sister. Oh no, what? Huh? So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so much of that is written in with George Lucas, of course, with his dad and that like complicated relationship. Yeah, Bale being it's always interesting. Bale being like the pivotal person that like just is in cameos, but is the one that like kind of continues Padme's work,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
helps start the rebellion, and like just his sprinkling in, and how pivotal he was in all that, and if he survived, how much of a force he would have been
Yeah.
behind the rebellion. I mean, like Leia took on a lot of that, but like Bale was seasoned.
Yeah, because I know that like it's mentioned a lot in Bloodline actually of like how Bale was such this figure and like Leia like continuing on his legacy and kind of be like kind of having the weight of that, of like knowing of how like important a figure Bale was, and like his work in the rebellion and everything, and so him, it would be kind of just interesting to see Leia really. I feel like it would really let Leia kind of become her own person. Like I know that like again in Bloodline she mentions that she didn't always really want to be a senator. Like in For the New Republic, like it was something that she kind of like just found her way into of like this is where I need to be now, and then like 30 years no, and then like 20 years later she's still in the same place.
Yeah.
But with if Bale was still alive, he would definitely have been that figure. And so yeah, no, I think it's just seeing like what Leia would do instead would be very interesting.
This brings up something interesting. So I never really thought about this, but in Obi-Wan Kenobi, does Obi-Wan ever tell Bale about Anakin?
I think he knows.
Yeah,
I think
I just
Bale knows
yeah.
because if I'm trying to remember the scene, there's a moment in Revenge of the Sith where they're kind of like talking about the reason why like Bale takes like Leia is to like protect them, but it's also like to protect them from like the Emperor, but also I think Bale would know that Anakin was Vader.
Yeah, because they did find out in the recordings of the Jedi Temple the
Yeah,
name Darth Vader and that it was Anakin.
exactly. Yeah,
And
and
of course they all
I
meet up
believe Bale like did Bale see those recordings or he at least found out about them or
no, but they did have like, you know, whatever meeting afterwards.
yeah, and so
before they went their other parted ways.
I'm pretty because the part of the thing about Obi-Wan not knowing about like in like the Kenobi series and having that moment of like Darth Vader is alive, Anakin Skywalker is alive with between him and Reva when he's like haunted by that realization, is that he's been living in the middle of nowhere on a desert planet talking to nobody. He doesn't know that Darth Vader is still alive. Bail Organa is a very high up senator in the Galactic Republic. Well, the Galactic Empire, but he still was like a senator at the time. He would probably know the name Darth Vader, and I'm pretty sure he knows then. And so he would know that, oh boy, he is alive. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
I think he
you
knows.
look at Leia's interaction with Vader in A New Hope, and like she's like Darth Vader.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, she
Only
knows
you
who
could be
he
so
is
Darth.
already.
Yeah,
Yeah, she knows
and
who he is already.
I wouldn't be
And
surprised
so,
if Bale had interactions with Darth Vader.
oh boy.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I would
mean,
love to see
being
that.
around the
Of
Senate, and yeah,
him knowing that it's Anakin and knowing that he cannot say anything. Oh, I would pay so much money to see that.
because the only other people that know
Oh, Nick, you
are
have my
probably.
mind racing
I
wild
know,
right
right?
now. Oh
You're
my
gonna have to
gosh,
make
I
a
hadn't
video on
really
this
thought
now.
about that.
I'm gonna be ready for a.
I don't know what I'm posting about tomorrow. But no, like seriously, like it would be, because I definitely think that, honestly, I need to just rewatch the end of Revenge of the Sith to get my like timelines down
Yeah.
right. But I'm very sure that Bale knows that Anakin is Vader. And so then would also like they think that Obi-Wan killed Vader. Bale would know that Vader was alive because he was in the Empire. And if they ever had to interact, that would be so tense. Because for so many reasons, because one, Bale would know the true identity of Darth Vader, but would also know that back home on Alderaan, he has his daughter, and just the absolute fear of that ever like being known by Vader. Like I could not imagine.
I mean, so somebody saying about being able to read. Bale was so good, like being secretive and kind of hiding both emotions and everything else around everyone. I mean, because he was able to kind of hide hide things around Palpatine and everyone else. Like he kind of like stayed under wraps for the most part. So I don't. I mean, they already knew he was against certain elements of the Empire because he fought for rights and peace and things like that. So there was already that element going forward. So I think they would have probably assumed he was more along those lines. But like reading, what's the Leia book of Leia when she was
Leia Princess
a teen?
Alderaan.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Love that book.
Yeah, you can see a lot of good interactions with Bale and Leia in that time period. And of course, their secret rebel meetings.
Yeah. Oh, so I love that book so much. It's so great. I will say my absolute favorite moment from that book is after Leia comes back from one of the moons of Naboo. I can't remember the name of the moon.
Yeah.
But she comes back from one of the moons of Naboo, and her parents are just waiting there, being like, "Hey, so why'd you want to go to Naboo? Any connection you felt about it? Anything you want to talk to us about?" What happened? They are in, it's like this moment of just like utter terror of, oh no, oh no.
Yeah, again, I don't think anything was explicitly said in the show. That because only Obi-Wan has interactions with like the Anakin aspect in the story, but they never talk about it otherwise.
Yeah, because it's like
leaves so much open to what if.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like Bale may have known, just because like from that recording that he sent to Obi-Wan being like, hey, it's been kind of like a while since we've heard from you, and Leia got kidnapped, and Bale's just like, hey, at the drop of a hat, I will fly to Tatooine immediately to go help with Luke.
Yeah.
And so I feel like he must know. So.
And like, the danger with the Emperor and with Vader, he knew the utmost that they needed the utmost secrecy with all that.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah. Oh man. There's Dave Filoni, there's so much more I need. Or at least give us some books.
Yes, please. Yeah. The Star Wars books are so good.
They're great. There's so many great authors.
Yeah.
Ooh, comics. Yeah. That would be a good way to tell some of those. They wouldn't need to be as long. Get on it. Star Wars.
Yeah, because for some of these like what if moments, like there's not necessarily like an entire novel's worth of material there. It's just kind of like a long scene. And so I feel like having that in the comics would be like would work.
Or extension of like we had Tales of the Jedi. What if we had Tales of the Sith or Tales of the Rebellion or just kind of extensions like that? That would be
Yeah. Season 2. But
sorry, I'm looking at some comments. Yeah. Well, Bale's stuff is very, as far as in Rogue One. Let me show this comment. Doesn't really say much. I mean, Mon Mothma knows about Obi-Wan. In that, doesn't necessarily know it's Obi-Wan, just that it's a Jedi.
Yeah.
And Bale's like, I got you. I'm on it.
Oh yeah. But I mean, because that is the thing. From Rebels, we know that Mon Mothma has met other Jedi before. Yeah. So.
I mean, you know, like in the prequels and in Clone Wars.
Yeah. I mean that, and like that too. But I just mean like there's when they like literally the Ghost crew goes to like save her. But I also think that like, what's it called? It would have been interesting if she ever worked with Ahsoka as a Fulcrum agent. Knowing that.
Yeah. But I really want to know that. Yeah. I would think so. Unless Ahsoka just worked with Bale.
Yeah, but I don't think she did, because like they talked about how like the Fulcrum agents, it was like there was multiple of them, and it was like a codename used by a lot of people, and like we know she didn't just work with Bale, because she also talked with Hera and the Ghost Crew.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And like Mon Mothma kind of being at the head of that, you would definitely think that she would be in the know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, this is interesting. What do you think Dooku and Grievous knew in Episode 3 regarding Sidious's plan? Did they know he was Sidious and Palpatine being the same person? And I don't think Grievous knew much.
Yeah, I doubt that Grievous knew. I definitely think that Dooku knew.
I mean, Dooku's the one that hid the Kamino planet from the Jedi.
Yeah, like he hid all of that, and then also just from what he says to Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones, when like Obi-Wan's like captured, and he's like, "What if I told you that the Republic is like now under the influence of a Sith Lord?" And Obi-Wan's like, "I don't believe you." Well, a couple years later, you're gonna find out that he wasn't. He was not lying to you.
I think the one thing he didn't know was that Palpatine was grooming somebody else.
Oh yeah, I kind of doubt that he knew about Anakin. I mean, well, I definitely think that he probably knew that Anakin was the chosen one, though. So there is always that, is the thing. So, yeah.
But Dooku did know a lot.
Yeah, I definitely think that he did know that Palpatine and Sidious were the same person.
Yeah.
Especially just from right before he gets like beheaded by Anakin, there's this moment of like shock at it happening, but not at, oh, you're actually going to kill me. It's a Palpatine, you're letting him kill me.
Yeah, and like, he does kind of like look at him like, huh? The Republic is led by a Sith Lord or something like that. Mm-hmm. He says that. Yeah. The Republic is controlled by the Sith, something like that. Sith Lord. Yeah. But it was really interesting in seeing Tales of the Jedi. Because we know, like, in Dooku, Jedi lost. Mm-hmm. That Dooku and, what's his face? The Jedi that set up the cloning.
Sifo Dyas.
Thank you. I'm like, it's at the tip of my tongue. I just, yeah. That they were close. Yeah. That Dooku manipulated him a bit. Into that. Yeah. Unfortunately. All right. We're kind of getting towards that time. Spoilers. Specifically for Mando. Have you seen The Bad Batch?
I have seen The Bad Batch.
Okay. Spoilers for Mando right now. Because there's something specific I want to say right in the beginning. So I'm going to give you a second to say, like, Arrivederci, goodbye, before, because I don't want to spoil anything for either of these episodes today.
Yeah.
All right.
So if you haven't Cena, go away now.
Yeah.
Go.
You've been warned. Okay, this weekend at WonderCon, we both got to separately meet Steve Bloom, who is the voice of Zeb.
He's so nice. He's so nice.
So nice.
And also apparently is great at keeping secrets.
Not a hint of the fact that we are getting live action Zeb this week.
Yeah. Like days later.
Yeah, it's crazy that first of all, he looked great. Looked amazing.
I was so surprised, and I'm honestly so happy because I know a lot of people were worried that it was gonna look kind of weird.
Yeah,
it looks really good.
So good, and the first one that we saw Lasat, I'm kind of like, oh cool, Republic Lasat, and then he starts talking. You're like,
yeah.
no. Says something else.
Because
Like,
I saw
Steve
Republic Lasat and it was like, that can't be Zeb, and then he spoke, and I was like, yes! I was so excited.
And the fact that that's the first, like, of all the people from the Ghost crew that we would
except for Chopper. Chopper was in Rogue One. Don't discredit Chopper.
I mean, we got the Menace first, so we got the Menace. We've got the Muscle.
Yeah,
we're ready for everything else.
Like, because that's one of the things is like seeing him in live action against like a real person really does like show how imposing and huge he is.
Yes. Yeah, and he's leaning over that entire
Yeah. I gotta know where Callus is. I gotta know. Where is he? Where is his other half? Like, I gotta know.
I mean, I want those two. I want those two to work out.
They better. Listen, in talking to Jeff, is it Jeff Bloom or Jeff Blum? Bloom? Okay, cool. I said his name wrong, and now I feel bad.
Well, because I actually...
I also called him Jeff just now when I said that.
Steve.
I just realized I called him Jeff. Steve... my brain. Apparently I'm still like super tired from WonderCon. I don't know what's going on in my brain. But Steve Bloom, even he ships Cal Zeb, which makes me very happy.
Yeah. I mean, unless they say anything different, it's canon to me. It's
yeah. They went off together on his home planet. It's canon. I don't care what they say.
That was the sweetest honeymoon gift I've ever seen.
Exactly.
And like when we got to the credits, so it was like myself, Element, Chaco, and Obi-Shan. We were like that has to be Zeb. Like that's Steve Bloom's voice. And then like we had to like look in the credits to like verify that they weren't messing with us.
I did the same thing. I was like, I gotta see these credits. Also, because I did also want to check, and I was right that I don't know if you noticed who else was in the bar.
I saw it in the credits, but please tell everybody. But
yeah, no, there was like everybody else was there. There was a lot of people who you saw from the back. I did see a cowboy hat, and they did mention Dave Filoni in the credits, and so I know that's him. But I did fully see Deborah Chow when I was watching the episode. And then getting to the credits and being like, oh my gosh, it was her.
It was a room full of all the directors.
Yeah, no, it was very cool. It was very exciting.
And I was just so focused in on other things that I was not.
Yeah.
That's why I need to watch episodes twice to kind of like look at the surroundings.
Yeah.
So much in there.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And so here's my wonder, because they adjusted the date of when like Mando came out, stuff like that. And I know they've adjusted things specifically for Celebration before, like Kenobi.
Yeah.
My wonder is like, is something gonna happen next week that's gonna lead into like stuff in Celebration?
Part of me wouldn't be surprised. I've like, what does that mean?
I mean, like everybody's right now is like, with Bo gonna look for other Mandalorians, people are like, Sabine.
Sabine. That would be very cool if it was Sabine. Yeah. I would love.
I mean, somebody who's brought Mandalorians together, who's worked with Bo-Katan. I mean, she's off
had the Darksaber at one point.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a good first person to go to.
Yeah.
To kind of get somebody on your side.
Yeah, but it's like because I know that it sounds like with Bo that she's trying to like find a lot of other Mandalorians and like
Yeah.
other like clans. Um, Sabine's not really connected to a specific like group. Like I mean, like there is like her family,
Yeah.
but like we don't know. I think the last time that we saw them, they were on Mandalore,
Yeah. With
and
the Clan
so
Ren. Yeah.
I'm now a little sad and worried that possibly Clan Ren may have been wiped out during the Night of a Thousand Tears. I wouldn't be surprised.
Although possible, but like they didn't live in the heart of Mandalore. They kind of lived like outside of everything.
Yeah, I know they lived kind of in like the outskirts, but
Yeah.
also, I mean, they thought that the entire planet was
That's
glass and that the entire planet was poisoned, and so I think that oh man, I think that would be very interesting to just kind of find out what happened to the rest of Clan Ren.
Yeah. I mean, with
But
Sabine, it could just be a one-off line, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm hoping for Sabine. I'm hoping for Sabine.
I mean, me too. I mean,
But
especially since that's the one character that they actually announced officially. That,
yeah,
like, this person is cast as Sabine, like,
yeah,
a long time ago.
yep,
'Cause,
yeah. No, they had officially cast her, and she was at Celebration last year. So yeah, very exciting. But I'm just, oh man, I hope it's Sabine. I'm very
Yeah.
excited just for what else the Mandalorian has in store for us. Like especially
I
after
know.
like the very dramatic moment of Bo-Katan taking off her helmet. Like the armor was like, take off your helmet, and I was like, huh?
Like, what's going? Is it going to be a gotcha? Is it
Yeah.
like what?
No, I was like,
Are they going to have
very
a
worried.
face-off?
Part
What's
of me was
going
like,
on?
are we gonna get a face reveal of the armorer now? Because also we don't know the armorer's name in season 3, which I just think is very interesting. Like she's only ever referred to as the armorer by everybody.
Yeah.
So
And right now, she kind of feels like kind of a spiritual leader type person,
yeah,
like kind of a
yeah,
almost there like Gandalf.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
At first, I thought there might have been something like revealed by the armor towards the end there, but like it's like no, you are going to be the person to bring everybody together. I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know if I trust you, armor, but like you're running
Yeah.
points
No,
with me.
yeah, because I know a lot of people were very suspicious about like the armorer's intentions about a lot of things, but then I think it's very interesting that like she has kind of turned around on Bo-Katan being like, "Hey, yeah, I saw a mythosaur, by the way."
She's like, well,
But
you saw a mythosaur, it's you.
yeah, because it definitely kind of was a moment of like, yeah, this is the way. You must be the one, which I'm very
Yeah.
happy and excited that like this is where Bo-Katan's like arc is taking, because I know that like people were like, oh, what if she's gonna be the antagonist for season 3?
I
And it was like,
never thought
but
that.
why? And then especially how she was at like the beginning of the season, just being completely done with the idea of leading and being just defeated by all of her failures in the past and like
Yeah.
everything that has happened to her in trying to reunite Mandalorians. And so it feels kind of like a second chance of like, no, like this is a sign. You need to do this. You can do this. So I'm very excited.
I feel like it's you know, she tried to lead Mandalore because she felt she had to.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, like people are like, you do it. She's like, well, I'll do it for Mandalore. But now I think she's got the mentality that can actually lead the people.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you know, with the dealing with the Empire, that was no easy feat to begin with.
Yeah.
But now she's got the mentality that can actually bring the Mandalorians together, and I love that story arc. How she's developing with that, like understanding all the different aspects of being a Mandalorian, and the one who walks in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another happy surprise for me was Paz Vizsla.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. During the first half of that speech, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be
Like,
is
oh,
he gonna try to
no.
fight Din again? And then he was like, no, you saved my son. I thank you, I see you. Like, yeah, let's do this. And I'm very happy about that because I remember in Book of Boba Fett, they
Yeah.
literally tried to kill Din for the Darksaber. And now he's just like, you know what, father to father, we're good.
Yeah, and like even at the end of the episode when like Bo comes out like without the helmet and like Armor is given the speech, like Paz looks over at Din and Din just gives the nod. Like they're like, are we good with this? Cool.
We're good with this. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the fact that there's that respect, even if
Yeah.
there's still like a kind of a Mando barrier, there's still that like respect
Oh, yeah.
between them. I love that. I
Mhm.
love that turnaround versus like them butting heads.
Yeah.
It's like no,
Oh, yeah.
we're gonna bring Mandos together. We're not gonna tear this apart.
Yeah. No, I'm very happy and excited about like just that happening. And like Paz kind of like being like, okay, all right.
And he gives
This
a
is the way.
much better like speech than Din did. You know?
Yeah, I mean, like I liked Din's speech, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh no, here he goes, and then he like really like ramps it up, and I'm like,
We're
hype man, number one.
Mandalorians.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that little teamwork. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little little buddy. I hope it stays that way because
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
The Star Wars has a tendency to set something up and then destroy it the next week.
Or rip out your heart. I was surprised that the
Star
pirates
Wars.
came back.
I knew the pirates would come back. I knew there would be pirates of some sort based on the line that they had in the first episode.
Oh, the never trust a pirate.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's I kind of thought that it was just like, oh, you know, we're setting a bunch of stuff up. Let's kind of put in like a fun little action scene. Pirates. And then they came back and it was like a big plot point, and so I'm very happy about that.
And then
the bromance, yes, the bromance is real.
I love seeing those types of things in Star Wars, you know.
Yeah.
Again, like Callus and Zeb, you know. Just seeing...
See, there's a list of bromance, more
romance.
romance.
Romance, I know. I still need to see more of that in Star Wars live action, not just books.
Looking
Wars.
Looking at you.
Where am I? Oh, there's
looking at you,
here.
Star Wars.
I know, more live action.
Give it to us in
live
action.
Books, but you're not giving us enough in live action. It's really see the pirates were so actual pirates. Like that, he even like Chaco even mentioned like he had the big wheel.
Yeah.
And then like his second in command was Smee.
It was he literally was like Smee, which I love. Like I mean, it's I love dumb little Star Wars words like a lot. It's just the funny jargon makes me laugh. Like when Din is like first flying in the ship and he goes wizard.
Yeah.
Like it's always very funny to me. But it also when the first episode of season 3 came out and the pirate literally said avast, I just was cracking up. I'm like, I'm so glad that the word avast is now canonical within Star Wars. It's so funny to me.
Avast and Carabast. I'm glad those
Carabast.
are close enough to be able to. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, we need a live action Carabast. That's next.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for that. I do think it's very funny of how like Star Wars is like, listen, we're family friendly, so we're not gonna have real curse words, but we're just gonna have funny little ones instead. So we got Carabast and Dank Ferric and Poodoo.
It's just close enough.
Yeah.
But it does sound Star Warsy. Although the way you named Jazz, I have questions.
We don't talk about the music.
I'm pretty sure it's probably before a time.
Yeah, we don't talk about the music.
Because in the episode the whole bar with Zeb and the directors in the background, the music in there was very much just like Galaxy's Edge music. Like it was the same kind of style. Which of course, like if you know Star Wars with the music, is that essentially how they developed music is kind of how jazz developed, and so they kind of keep that kind of jazz and other kind of forms of that developing. So like now we're getting closer to sequel time period, so that music makes sense.
Yeah.
It's wait, what do we got here? Yeah, I mean, I would say the Night of 1,000 Tears with Lassant.
Yeah.
It's a very Empire thing to do. It's like you're a threat. We're just gonna wipe you out.
Yeah.
That's not cool, Empire.
Yeah.
Um, um, oh, what else about the Mando episode? Oh, pirates. Sorry, I got distracted for a moment with jazz. It's going to be really interesting to see where they go from here, and I know it's just going to keep ramping up. We got what, 3 episodes left?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because if 8 episodes, we've just finished episode 5. Wow.
I mean, we're gonna have more of like oh yeah, the Moff Gideon aspect. The end scene. That's what I wanted. Yeah. The whole of course reveal that Moff Gideon was taken by somebody, or at least escaped somehow.
Yeah.
And that they have Mandalorian alloy left behind. But just alloy.
It's one of those things where it's like it makes sense that Moff Gideon is gonna come back, because I mean, like, if you get Giancarlo Esposito in your show, you're not gonna just be like, okay, you had 2 seasons, goodbye.
Yeah.
But I do think that I can't remember the name of his. What is the name of the X-wing pilot? What is his name?
I keep forgetting his name. I love him.
Oh, I don't remember.
But I keep
John. I'm gonna call him John because I can't think of his name. But anyway,
good old Johnny 5.
I think part of me thinks that he's probably definitely going to be coming back, as like being more involved with being like trying to find like the Mandalorians and.
But I think he was supposed to be involved in the show that the New Republic show that wasn't has gotten scratched.
Yeah, rest in peace. But I definitely think that he's smart enough to know that it is suspicious that the Mandalorians' like unbreakable armor, somehow there's a piece of said unbreakable material just left over in this ship, easily found. Feels a little suspicious.
I mean, I still think the big bad for this show is
Teva, Captain Teva.
Thank you. Yes.
Not John.
I mean, you know, if John is spelled like differently.
It's like John Jones from the Martian
like,
Manhunter.
We're gonna spell Erica with a Y.
Yeah. Or what was it? Tim with 2 M's in Andor. Oh man.
So simple.
Like I said, love dumb little Star Wars words. The names. There's so many fantastic dumb ones.
And of course, people want Thrawn to be coming in this early. I don't think they're going to. I think they'll hint at stuff, but I think they'll hint at something maybe bigger. But I think Moff Gideon will still be a little bit more of the focus. I mean, Thrawn could have freed Moff Gideon, but I mean, we've got spies in the New Republic right now, so it wouldn't be that difficult to
what is her
make that happen.
I'm forgetting every single character's name.
It's Elia or Elia, something like that.
What's her face? The Imperial girl.
Yes, I know it's Elia is her first name.
She.
Thank you. I was
Elia Kane. That's it.
I thought it was Kane. Thank you.
Love her character so much. As soon as Captain Teva showed up on Coruscant and you just like see her in the background, I was like, oh no. Excited, but oh no.
Oh, man,
and then the fact that he's like immediately suspicious of her, and then she like throws it right back at him, being like, I was liberated from the Empire. And like, oh, it's fine. I get those comments all the time. And just like putting it right back, like throwing it right back at him.
All about the New Republic. And like they haven't signed on with the New Republic, so
yeah, it's like, oh man. Really? Yeah. It's like, oh man, I don't think we really can do anything. So good.
Speaking of shows coming forward, Thrawn books. So what's interesting about Dave Filoni talking about what they're building towards. So John and Dave have been talking about the fact that they're building to a bigger thing, whatever a bigger storyline there is kind of in the Mando universe time period. And they said that it's going to be borrowing from the EU, which is kind of the old books for that. And this time period, the books that are the most popular in pretty much Star Wars history are the original Thrawn trilogy, written by Timothy Zahn, which are not canon anymore. But that's where Thrawn was created. So people are wondering if things are going to be borrowed from those books. They're fantastic, but they're not going to tell you what's going on now. But there's 6 other Thrawn books. There's 2 other trilogies that they're basically Thrawn prequels that you can go read. They're very interesting. You'll start to have mixed feelings about Thrawn. You'll have a hard time seeing him as an enemy, even though he's kind of a sociopath. But but yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because the other books. I would start with the not the Ascendancy ones, the other canon ones. Because one of them, the middle one, deals with like Anakin, Thrawn meeting Anakin, and stuff like that, and like building up towards the Rebels time period. Have you read any of them?
I'm so behind on all the books.
Duh.
That's why
Well-
I've just been nodding this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I
like
need to
coming
read
in.
them so badly. It's one of those things where it's like, oh man, I've literally only heard good things about the Thrawn books. Oh,
Yeah.
I should really get around to reading them, and then I just haven't.
Oh my god, try
I'm
to
a
keep up
bad
with all the
fan, I
books. No, you know more about the Star Wars stuff than most of it than I do. But like being a content creator and like trying to be on here, like, and it's like I got to keep up with the books. I got to keep up with y'all. There's so much.
There's so much.
I can't remember what the there's like Thrawn alliances, whatever trilogy is with like the Thrawn alliances and treason and those ones.
Oh yeah.
Those are the ones that I would start with. They're really they basically start with Thrawn starting off in the Empire.
Yeah.
And from there, that's where you get that, and that's interesting. The other ones just deal with Thrawn Ascendancy, which is like the before times. Great, and they're all written by the same author, Timothy Zahn. But yeah. Anyway, just wanted to say that if you're curious, because everybody's like Thrawn, everything about Thrawn, and then people are wondering about the EU, and it's like, I mean, we've got cloning elements, we've got possible Thrawn. What do we got over here? What if Dooku had overpowered Obi-Wan then?
See, that's the thing. Okay, so I think that if Dooku had like overpowered Obi-Wan and Anakin and killed both of them, I think his plan. I think he definitely would have had a contingency, but I think if Dooku was able to overpower Anakin, it just would have proved to Palpatine that Anakin wasn't powerful enough. Like the entire reason why he wants Anakin to be his next, I was about to call him his next Padawan, his next apprentice, is because he knows that Anakin is very powerful, but it's also like he wants to have the most powerful person, and so if Dooku is able to defeat him, that would mean that Dooku may be a little bit more powerful than Anakin. So.
Yeah, I mean, he basically like survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
I mean, look what his interaction with Maul, Palpatine's interaction with Maul in Clone Wars.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like that's part of the reason why after like Maul gets defeated, he just does not care anymore about him, because it's like, yeah, you were defeated, you weren't good enough. Yeah, I did cast you aside. Like, it's just like, oh.
And the next question. So Palpatine again had so many contingency plans. Like he had several things in the works at all times. And then if something would happen, he would twist it to his favor. I mean, like, look what happened with the clones. You know, he twisted all of it to like work in his favor. There's so many reasons why he was able to gain powers. I mean, like, one of them was just manipulating Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Jar Jar's like biggest mistake.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, yeah, he was shunned after that, basically.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Oh, but thank God Ahmed Best is back.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy for him. Like, it's just
did so good.
That entire scene, I was like, it can't be him. Is it him? And then I finally, like, it was the same thing of like when like Zeb appeared, of the kind of like, I need to check the credits. I need to make sure I'm correct.
And yesterday when we were at Galaxy's Edge, so Element and Chaco, we went on Star Tours before leaving, and I mentioned to them that the landing that they had in last week's Mando with with Ahmed was the landing in the newer versions of Star Tours, like the Coruscant ending, and that's the ending that we got on Star Tours. So we got to experience.
Hey!
Yeah, I'm like,
That's so cool.
you got the Kylo Ren back ending.
That's so cool. Dang,
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, well, being a big Disneyland person, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm on Star Tours. This is great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man.
Oh,
That's
before we want to say a few last things about, because you saw Bad Batch as well, but I want to give spoilers before we talk about just a couple things in Bad Batch, because I know people are emotional today. So that's your spoiler warning. Okay. Oof. Tech. Yeah.
I got
I don't
text
believe
deck
it yet.
spoiled for me
Oh no.
in my own comment section.
Ugh.
It was rude. It was rude. Didn't make it any less absolutely tragic and
Yeah.
absolutely heart-wrenching. Oh man, yeah, the entire ending was just, oh man.
I still don't
man.
believe Tech's dead, because they did the whole like, here are his goggles, this is proof.
Yeah.
And like, we saw what happened with Frodo when they did that,
Yeah.
Here's the chainmail. Like,
It feels like a very easy way for the writers to choose what happens to him. Because they could so easily say that he is dead, but they could also so easily be like, oh no, they did find him. Like, honestly, and kind of being in a similar situation to Echo.
Yeah.
But I will say, hey, a fall from that distance.
It's not likely, but
no.
it is Star Wars. Which
It
is
is
the
Star
only reason
Wars.
why I question everything.
It is Star Wars. But still, I'm so.
Why does the Bad Batch have to end every season with just like utter emotional
a tragic
destruction?
cliffhanger? Yeah. I'm still reeling from the sister reveal.
I was pretty sure when we first met her that she was a clone because of the New Zealand accent.
I was gonna
solely
say
on that.
it was one of those things where when she was talking to Omega, and like sometimes you kind of get a vibe from a conversation between just like characters, and she was like saying like, oh, we're more alike than you think. I was like, wait a second, you're a Kiwi. Oh no. Oh, huh? Like it was. I was. It was a lot. That episode was a lot.
Yeah. It's just like, it's good confirmation. It's kind of like, okay, I was in line with that one. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I wasn't off base.
Yeah. I am very interested to see just kind of like what's up with her, because she's also like full person aged. So is she like a genetically accelerated clone as well? Mm-hmm. Like not the way that like Omega is like genetically unaltered. Like, why is she working for the Empire? What's up with all of it? Like, I am, oh my gosh.
No idea. I mean,
also,
I do love
hey girl, what are you doing to all of your brothers?
Yeah, what's your plan? Like
yeah.
Why reveal?
Are you just evil? What's happening?
It's hard to say, because like, if you were working with anybody with like Rex or anything, like they would know more about Mount Tantus probably. Like, but they don't. It's hard to say. There was like somebody that they had kind of an inside person, but I don't know if that would be it. I
don't know. I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm intrigued, because they don't know per se that like, because they don't know where they are. And so it's just like, oh, they just have like an inside source as to like, oh yeah, he is going to be here, so you could track his ship. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's just like one of the clones who's still like working for the Empire,
Yeah.
but like hates them. So it's like telling Rex information. But
It'll be interesting. I mean, I do love a good like we're gonna get her at all. We're gonna rescue her at all costs. Like type of you know, like when a dad is like this is like now we're in like Taken scenario.
It's a little bit of a he means more to me than you could ever imagine. Like it's very in a similar vein. Because
like,
hey, they do
I've got
have a very particular set of skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Samesies.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that, but oh man, waiting cliffhangers.
Yeah. I can't imagine how sad Crosshair is going to be when he eventually does wake up and sees that Omega is there.
So I tried to warn you.
Yeah, he's like, I tried to tell you not to come here. Why are you here? Oh, you got captured. Oh, great.
And the whole like like when I because they revealed the titles a while back with Plan 99.
Yeah.
And
finding out that that's what Plan 99 is.
Yeah. It's like a go on without me.
Yeah, it's like just like I am going to sacrifice myself now so that you can all survive.
I hate it now.
I
hate it. Yeah. I mean, like, because I was like, oh, Clone Force 99, that's got to be something cool. Nope.
No, it was heartbreaking. That's what it was.
Heartbreaking.
It wasn't cool. It was heart-wrenching.
Heart-wrenching. So kind of going on happier notes. How many of you in the comments are going to Celebration? I'm curious who out there that's still left. I know there was people on earlier that are. So I was going to try to like record an episode and then have it air on Wednesday while I'm on a plane. And then I realized like half the people are going to be on a plane to Celebration. So it's kind of pointless to like do an episode next week. But the next week after, I'll still be in London, but we'll do an episode, kind of a Celebration recap type episode because there's going to be so much. I know. For a lot of people, it's because it's in London, and that's for people in US or Canada or something. That's a hard ask. But we will update you. We will be on the social medias as much as possible, giving you the updates. So go follow Bucky, gingersareplants, and myself. We're gonna I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I have so much to do. I would say like I'm gonna work on so much of my armor, but like after last night and today, I'm like, we'll see if I'm productive at all.
Yeah. You got a little bit of time. You got not even a week left.
I know. I mean, if I don't like fully finish the painting of the armor, if it's good enough, then that's okay. But I'm a perfectionist, and that doesn't sit well with me. But it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I also have to choreograph a routine for Sarah and I are doing the Obi-Wan Satine Singing in the Rain mashup.
Yeah.
I edited all the music, so I just have to choreograph it.
Heck yeah. I'm so excited to see that.
We'll perform that. Yeah. It'll be a little bit of Star Wars stuff, a little bit of Singing in the Rain stuff, that combo. But don't worry, it's all going to be happy. This is this is them. The time period is them not in Clone Wars, but earlier. When he first goes to Mandalore. I used sound clips from Clone Wars because that's all I have of them, but it's all based in the happier time period. So
nice.
Yeah, just so you know, it's not a heart-wrenching ending.
Not heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's not going to be a heartbreaking yelling Satine from Moulin Rouge type of type of moment.
Oh man.
No, it ends with Singing in the Rain. You're good. Yeah. But I'm excited, and it'll be nice to see you again. Like it's been a few days, but we'll have to like hang out and try to remember to make some videos.
Heck yeah.
We're terrible at that, but
we are. But it'll work out.
I know. Yeah. I mean, if we're standing around on the line.
Exactly. Yeah. No. I mean, I have a feeling both of us are just going to be there way too early for the Ahsoka panel.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get up so early to do that makeup.
Oh my gosh, yeah. See, I'm just planning on Disney bounding, so I just got to do the little white face marks. But even then, I'm kind of gotten a little better at them. So it's more of just kind of being like, okay, I can do this. So
I've got to print out some stencils to help me out
see,
with that.
that's smart. I should do that, but nah. I'm just like, you know what? I'll freehand it. It'll be fine.
See, I have no makeup experience at all, except for like stage makeup of like just glom it
Yeah.
on, you're fine. So, yeah, I'm not just gonna like trust that I have
Trust
the
the
skills.
process.
Yeah, I'm not gonna trust in the force on that one.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, yeah. I can already see the future, and that it's a bleak future. But again, thank you all for joining. Of course, like the video, that helps. Subscribe, that helps even more. And of course, you can find Bucky with Gingers Are Plants on both TikTok
Yep.
and the Instagram.
Heck
And I saw you post a video today from TikToks on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I might as well share this here as well. I should start doing that more. So
There's so many I should start doing that more things that I have on my list.
oh yeah. Oh,
But yeah, again, thank you all. It's been a pleasure, and I need to put my battery to sleep
yeah.
because it's so exhausted. Stayed up till 5 in the morning with me.
Oh, no.
But again, thank you everybody. Thank you, Bucky, for coming on and doing what ifs, because I've been wanting to do this, just explore, just get creative,
Oh
just
yeah.
deep dive.
Oh yeah.
It's one of the fun things about being a nerd.
Oh, absolutely is. Thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun.
And we will see you at Celebration for those of you that are there. And otherwise, Fulcrum out.